So how do you feel about animals?
They're pretty interesting. There's a lot of cool things they can do.
Yeah?
That they adapt to,
They adapt to?
and that's mostly it, man.
Yeah. So like, what kind of animals are you thinking of?
I forgot what lizard it was. It was a lizard that could shoot blood out of its eyes.
Oh shit! Some cool stuff the animals can do out there, right?
Yep.
Okay. Here's a different type of question, but how do you feel about animal abuse?
Animal abuse, I see a lot. That's got even since I grew up.
Yeah.
Kinda like I see like people abusing their animals, their dogs, cats.
Yeah.
Just
How does that make you feel?
sometimes makes you feel sad for them.
Yeah, it makes you feel sad.
Kind of angers me.
Angers you.
And like if you can't just got treated well, why the hell do you have it?
Yeah, it gets you frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, if you can't treat it well, why have it? So you mentioned mostly pets, those type of animals, and stuff like that. So can you give me some examples of what abuse would be?
Hitting the cat, neglecting it.
Hitting a cat.
Not feeding it when it's supposed to be fed.
Neglect, underfed.
Just abandoning it overall.
Abandoning it, stuff like that. Okay. And again, you mentioned some pet. What is there any other kind of animal abuse that you can think of outside of pets, maybe?
Outside of pets? Nah, I can't.
Can't think of anything. Okay, last question then. How do you feel about slaughterhouses and factory farms? Do you know what factory farms are?
Like foster farms, like kind of like those.
Right, like big industrial type farms where probably about 95% of the meat that you buy when you're out and about comes from. How do you feel? You know about the abuse that happens at those shelters?
Not really. I only had a friend that worked in foster farm, but that's it.
What'd your friend say about? Did he mention any of the abuses?
He didn't mention the abuses. The only thing that he mentioned is that he doesn't like eating chicken since he realized how they kill it and everything.
How they kill it, probably how they treat it, just how it lives. So there's a lot of abuses that happen at factory farms. And how do you feel? So for instance, right now, if someone was kicking a dog that kind of went by you, how would that make you feel?
Pissed off.
Pissed off. Maybe you might even do something, like if the guy was repeatedly doing it. So if I can tell you that in factory farms, there's a lot of daily abuse that goes on, just how they treat the animals from birth on, how they kill. Do you know for male chickens, for instance, did you know that male animals are kind of worthless in the animal industry? So for every egg, when they're hatched for chickens, for hens, they only keep the females, right? The male little chick, as soon as it sees the light of day, they look at it, it's a male, they put it on a conveyor belt and it drops into a grinder, a blender, alive like a little chick, right? Would you consider that abuse?
Yes.
Right? So a lot of these factory farms, they're just the way they treat the animals is definitely abuse. Where if you would probably step in and stop it if you saw it in person, right? Like if you saw that conveyor belt with little birds going in the grinder, you'd probably stop it. So let me ask you this. If you know that it's bad and you know you would stop the abuse in person, what's stopping you right now from not buying that same meat and not supporting those same systems where they're abusing those animals?
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all, right? So what does stop you then? If you know it's bad and you know it's abuse, what's making you stop and not do that?
For me, I would say it's not stopping me. The only reason is because some people use it for different things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, some people go for vegetarians.
Right.
Take the vegetarian route or just plants.
Yeah, vegans, right? Yeah.
Some people take the meat route, carnivore route. So I do a little bit of both. I eat meat both. I can't say nothing about it.
Totally, yeah. So you admit.
But mostly it's either for nutrition or protein wise
Right. So do you think that humans need meat for protein and nutrition?
It really depends. It varies person to person. I can't say. Since me personally, I did have a friend that he had to eat some meat since he was a vegetarian. Mm-hmm. And he only liked that because he had low iron.
Low iron?
Yeah.
Did you know that there's a high iron in things like spinach and a lot of the dark greens? So a lot of people that go vegetarian is like they just cut out the meat, but they don't eat the vegetables and the stuff that you gotta stay healthy with.
Yep.
Would you? So you know what a vegan is?
Yes.
So all of us out here today are vegans.
Yeah.
So I'm a Muay Thai fighter. I'm a bodybuilder, and I haven't eaten meat since I was 7 years old. And vegans on general can live 8 to 12 years longer than omnivores or optunivores, as you were, explaining with other people. So knowing that, and like I said, you know that you don't want to support that abuse, but you do eat meat. Now that you know those details, and knowing that you're a righteous guy that doesn't want an animal getting hurt, would you consider eating less meat, or maybe even cutting it out of your diet, knowing that?
It's gotta eat less, just
Yeah.
because if I cut completely, it won't work out for some people, just because how can I say, the dopamine of just eating meat, the flavor is gonna arouse some people just to go back and straight eating meat.
It's hard, like a habit. Yeah. It's almost like a drug. You're saying, yeah. It's hard for people to cut. But weaning, you can wean off just like a drug, right? Yep. And get off of it and live a healthy lifestyle. So yeah, we're just out here educating people and talking to people, and like, you already made all the connections, right? Like, you already know exactly, and you know what you want to support and what you don't. So I appreciate that about you, and I just hope every time you spend your dollar when you're out there at the store, just know what you're supporting, right? Yep. So every time you're buying meat, even though you don't see it, you know an animal's been abused every time you spend that dollar. And anytime you say, hey man, I'm not eating meat today, you saved a life. And you saved a life from abuse. So I appreciate you taking your time, brother. Can I give you a card with just some information of veganism in case you ever want to look up? Yeah. That's a QR code. Like I said, I'm in the athletic world, so there's a lot of good articles and movies about how healthy it keeps you and all that, and how good it is for the world. So thanks, brother. I appreciate you, man. All right. Have a good one.